At T-Mobile, our critical mission is providing unparalleled 5G coverage for when connectivity is mission critical. Introducing T-Priority, America's best 5G network experience for first responders, even in times of congestion. More capacity, faster speeds, better coverage. T-Priority from T-Mobile, built for tomorrow's emergencies, ready today. Discover more at t-priority.com.
For qualifying organizations on eligible rate plans, coverage not available in some areas and may be impacted by emergencies.
Hi, welcome to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. My name is Bill Moore. I am a food truck business trainer, author of Food Truck 101, Beginner to Winner, and the forthcoming book, Food Truck 201. This podcast is all about helping you start and grow your food truck business. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about learning from different teachers. When you seek advice on any forum, whether it be Facebook or Reddit or a website, you're going to get good advice, you're going to get bad advice, and most often it's just going to be contradictory advice. Most folks that are seeking advice also probably are either very new or experiencing something they've never seen before. Typically what that new person is going to do, since they can't tell the difference between good advice and bad advice, is they're just going to choose the easy advice rather than the correct advice. Here's a case in point. Look through any food truck group, ask about food cost and how it relates to menu pricing, and you're going to see many folks regurgitate the completely outdated 3 times cost or 33%. I have been talking for the last 5 years on Facebook groups that that's an outdated and unprofitable number, and yet even in my own Facebook group, somebody's going to spit out that advice when that question gets asked. Now, if you want to know the source of this antiquated advice, it's mainly coming from TV shows where the host has not worked in a functioning restaurant at the store level P&L for decades. Because remember, they're on TV because of their personality, not because they ran profitable restaurants, and certainly not because they ran profitable food trucks. There is a difference. Or the folks spitting out this old-time advice, they're just reading books, and those books happen to be decades old. And those books are not being updated. You got to remember, I've been doing this since the late 1970s. Food cost way back then was 32%. The most recent fast food chain that I have worked for, their food cost goal was 28%, and that was 13 years ago. 28%. I most recently talked to one of my friends that's an area manager for one of the national chains, and their goal is 25%. Wow, 25%. Which is 4 times cost, what I have been teaching for the last several years. 33% is not profitable, and it is not profitable for a food truck. So get that number out of your mind. That's one example of bad advice. The bad advice goes beyond food cost. I see illegal suggestions on wages or handling tips. I see recommendations on using non-NSF approved equipment or how to handle orders that are simply just clumsy when the business is slow. And if the business actually does a whole bunch of orders at once, that communication method is just disastrous. The reason I bring all these differences in opinion is to show you why you need to listen to a single comprehensive source when starting and then running your business. Each of the things that I mentioned, food costs and menu prices and wages and equipment and KDS and order up notification and all the other moving parts of a busy food truck are just pieces of the successful food truck puzzle. Those pieces are only useful to you as owner when they fit together. If they don't fit together, you're going to be frustrated, you're going to be seeing your sales decline, and you possibly are going to fail. Now, how is that possible, you're saying? Let's take my 25% food cost example. I teach that because I know exactly how that 25% fits into the overall profit and loss statement of a successful food truck. That's the picture that we're trying to assemble with our food truck expense puzzle, a successful food truck. Let's say you follow all of my tips except that one, and you opt for a 33% food cost because what does that do? That makes your menu prices lower. And you think that you're going to have more people come buy your food because your food is cheaper. That 8-point difference from 25 to 33 comes directly out of your profit. Comes out of your bank account. It comes out of your wallet. But wait, there's more. Because you have lower sales, you've also increased the impact of your fixed cost percentages and you've driven it higher. Where does that come from? Your profit as well. But because only one piece of the puzzle has been discussed rather than the entire puzzle, With all the pieces, the advice simply will not work when you pick and choose. Well, Bill's dummy, I'll just go with the 33% because all these other people say it works. But they haven't told you anything else about all of your other costs, all your labor costs, all of your fixed expenses. They haven't talked to you about propane and gasoline and all those other things. So when you start to put those other pieces of puzzle together and you have that one huge 33% sitting there, guess what? The puzzle doesn't work. You can no longer have a successful food truck because you've picked and chosen what you want to pay attention to rather than looking at everything integrated together into a single picture of a very successful food truck. As a new person exploring the food truck business, or really any business in general, I urge you to only learn from one person at a time. Learn all you can learn, make sure all the pieces you have are to the same puzzle, assemble those pieces, and then if necessary, move on to a new coach or a new mentor or a new teacher. My son's favorite movie when he was much younger was Cars. And in that particular movie, a character named Doc, who is a very old, very experienced, and very successful racer, tells Lightning McQueen, who is a very young and arrogant racer, that Doc taught Lightning everything that Lightning knows, but not everything that Doc knows. Stick with a single teacher. Learn everything they know. Otherwise, you'll just end up frustrated and confused. And when things don't work out in your business, then you don't know what to do because you pick and chosen advice from a whole bunch of different sources. Thank you guys so much for listening to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. If you find all the information helpful to your food truck business, please become a monthly supporter of the podcast. Just hit the support button or follow the link in the description. Every little bit does help keep us going. Join our Facebook group. It's called Food Truck Training. We have a whole bunch of awesome members at all different levels, from brand new, just starting newbies to decades-old veterans. They've all got your back when it comes to helping you and your food truck. And again, thank you for listening. Come back tomorrow because you know I got plenty more to say when it comes to helping you and your food truck business grow.